Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Love Us Anyway, the space where we unpack healing, growth, connection. And today we're going to talk about letting go. So, I'm your host, Fantasia, and today's episode is deeply personal, widely relevant, and hopefully freeing for some of y'all. So, we're talking about something we all wrestle with at some point, and Donna and I was talking about it just a little bit before, letting things, people go. So I'm not just talking about that cleaning your closet out. I'm really talking about letting go, letting people go, letting go of expectations, letting go of trying to control the narrative, outcomes, or even how others see you. And I'm so glad that I'm not alone and I'm holding this conversation with my favorite person today, my sister, my friend, and someone whose wisdom always brings me back to center. Donna, welcome in.
Well, thank you. It's so great to be here with you, Fantasia, and to have this topic and to share some insight, some wisdom, some storytelling. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm here for it too. And we're going to dive into the layers of letting go, why it's so hard, and not even just why it's hard, why it's necessary, because it is. And I'm going to be honest. Um, this past year has taught me a lot about release. And not only this year, I feel like a lot of the years in my life has been a lesson. And that's cool too, because that means there's growth there. But wondering, Donna, for you, what's your experience been like when releasing expectations or people?
Mm. So when you say hard, I actually feel kind of like a lump in my throat.
Hmm.
And I think it's difficult for me because I was raised to be polite.
Hmm.
And it's not polite to say no.
Come on.
It's not polite to put myself first.
Hmm.
So that's why it's hard because I can feel it,
Hmm.
but then I stop it
Hmm.
because I can hear in the back of my head, oh, that's not very nice. Nobody's gonna like you, or
Hmm.
they're gonna be mad. So, but it's necessary. It's
Hmm.
absolutely necessary. And probably in the last year, just in my own journey,
Hmm.
that has been coming up. It is like, what are you afraid of? How do you expect to expand unless you prioritize, unless you speak up?
Hmm.
Because no one is going to take care of Donna like Donna will.
Right. Right.
And I heard recently, probably in the past few months, let people do what they rather.
Hmm.
And that really struck a nerve for me. And that's kind of been the crutch I've been leaning on at
Hmm.
work and at home. Let people do what they rather. It
Hmm.
really does free up a lot
Yeah.
of emotional um, content
Yeah.
inside of me.
Yeah. And what I also hear you say is it releases a lot of the control that we sometimes have in certain situations, dynamics, or with people, right? And maybe not intentional, but sometimes we try to control the narrative and make space for certain things or not. And what I hear you say is just let it be. And let people show up how they're going to show up, do what they're going to do, but that doesn't mean that it has to be you that has to uh, make the pieces of the puzzle fit or make it work or make it better or, oh God, so make it better. It doesn't have to be you to make it better.
Just in you saying that, I felt my heart just kind of settle.
Mm. I'm,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
that is something that I've dealt with. So, I mean, and also there are spaces that I've outgrown. There are jobs, commitments, and even in expectations, that I have for myself. Um, those a lot of things I can't control, even though sometimes I try to navigate that because I see the good in or want to be supportive with or, all the things. So, but as I stay too long,
Mm,
partly, like you mentioned, out of fear, and partly because maybe that job, that expectation, that commitment is tied to my livelihood. Um, letting go wasn't letting go wasn't just emotional. It had consequences, real life consequences. And being able to do that also invited in some freedom. And it's not always easy to do. And so I've realized that once I step back and release what no longer aligns, although uncomfortable, I tend to slowly find a little bit of peace again. And just like how you said, just even saying that, your heart settled just a bit, like that little bit of ease, that little bit of peace. And so it's definitely necessary to let things go. And so I'm wondering what's one area in your life where letting go brought um, unexpected freedom or
mm.
peace.
So I was with my mom and my sister over the weekend,
Hmm.
and we just fall into the habit of behaving like we always do.
Hmm.
And and so what do I mean by that? Probably being petty, trying
Hmm.
to control, dictate how things should be done.
Hmm.
And so I just took a pause. I just went and sat on the sofa and I was just enjoying the breeze and the birds and, just having a moment.
Hmm.
And I could hear my mom and my sister still kind of going back and forth. And they both got kind of heated. And
Hmm.
so something in me wanted to jump in and mediate. And then I just like, I'm not. I'm
Hmm.
not, this is not my circumstance.
This
This
is
is
not
not
my
my,
fight.
it's not my fight. And so as uncomfortable as it was, they needed to have that. And then
Hmm.
I had to also just be okay with hearing that
Hmm.
and letting it play out the way it was going to play out.
Hmm.
It, something was tugging on me to jump in and save and be the referee. And
Right.
then I didn't. So I just
Yeah.
sat there. It ended the way it ended. My sister left. So I stayed there a few more minutes and then I just gathered myself. I said something to my mom, like, I said, we are here to help you. And so you have everything that you need. And that was it. I just gathered my things and then I left. And there was some freedom, just me sitting in the car. And I probably sat there for another 10 minutes because my heart is racing. I feel a little sweaty. But I was just like, there was a sigh of relief.
Hmm.
And that I'm not the person that can be in all the places and kind of brush
Hmm.
things over. Just, it's okay if it's messy. It's okay if people say things.
Hmm.
It's going to be okay. So I was very thankful for that present moment awareness to stay in my body, to be able to listen, to feel the emotions rise and fall.
Hmm.
And then in a place of just acknowledging it
Hmm.
and then leaving.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I being able to step back instead of always continuously stepping up in moments of feeling like um you can help, you can support, you can offer assistance and, maybe make things right or better or and I feel like it's in my human nature to want to make people feel good and do things that support them and their dreams and based on my ability, right? But then sometimes it becomes overwhelming too. And maybe in it you don't really notice it until, like you said, you took a step back, you got out of it for a second and was like, wait a second. No, this is not for me to bear. This is not for me to hold on to in this moment. I'm going to pause and separate for a minute, and then I'm going to honor my body with the emotions that are coming up and just have a nice little release. And even with that, just a piece of freedom comes with that, right? Like, or even if it's not your doing or your will, but it works out to where you are allowed to let go. You are allowed to let go. And I've had plenty of seasons where I held on to things because I thought that I should, held on to people when I thought that I should. You know what? I think I'm still in some of those seasons. But even with relationships, I didn't want to fail, people I wanted to save. And sometimes I thought letting go really meant giving up on that thing, on that person.
Mm.
But now what I know is that and what I realize is letting go is a form of trust, trusting God, trusting myself, trusting that I don't have to carry it all. And that's important. And that is the area of freedom as well. Lord, I trust you in all the ways that I show up and in everything that I do. And I know sometimes I may overstep, and I appreciate when you remind me to step back. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that this is such a relevant conversation. And
Mhm.
then that element of letting go and trusting God, trusting the process,
Mhm.
trusting myself is an ongoing practice.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially because sometimes we struggle with it. We're human.
Yeah.
Even when we know what's best, sometimes we struggle. I've been on what do you call, what is the seesaw? Seesaw. Do they have those anymore in the playgrounds? I don't know that I've seen a
I
seesaw.
haven't seen that in a while.
No,
No.
think about it, right? But you know what? We have one in downtown Fayetteville. It's not at a park though. I think it's outside, and you can get on it somewhere outside somewhere. I think it's supposed to be like a piece of art. But anywho,
Yeah,
um,
you might have to describe it for the people if they don't know what a seesaw
oh,
is.
okay, right. You absolutely right, Donna. So the seesaw, when two people are on it and one each are on one end of the other, and the you push from the ground up to allow the other person to go down, the other person goes up, and then you seesaw back and forth. So you kind of like what they say, teeter totter or whatever.
Yes.
And I feel like that's sometimes what letting go feels like, the up, the down, the back, the forth, the tugging a bit and things. And so I don't know why that visual came to my mind just now, but do you have any advice that you would give someone who
Mm,
knows it's time to release something but doesn't know how to start? Like they
mm.
know it. They know it, but they don't know where to begin.
Right. And so not always is it a logical moment. It's probably more of an emotional
Mhm.
and trust yourself.
Yeah,
And it might be scary and just do it
just do it.
because the best person that's cheering for you is that inner child.
Mm.
So it could be fearful, you could be unsure, and just trust that it's gonna, and because it is, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay. So if you want to talk to a friend, um, just to have someone that is there's somebody you trust, somebody you love, someone that's going to remind you that it's going to
Mhm.
be okay, do that. But
Mhm.
and do it because your heart is always wanting the best for you, always there. So don't second guess it, especially if
Mm,
it's that strong. That's how
mm,
you know it's the truth.
mm. Especially if you know it's that strong. That's how you know it's the truth. And there was something that came up when you were speaking, and I was just thinking about um, the process of it all, you know. Letting go is hard. And I was thinking about the process of it all, and the process that I was thinking about, and that's why I paused for, was when you sometimes you know how you kind of write things down and you're like, okay, these are the pros to this particular situation or person or workplace or whatever, and these are the cons. And then like in that movie, Why Did I Get Married? You know, they had the weights. It was like kind of like, okay, so which ones outweigh the other, and is it worth continuing this thing, or is it worth letting it go or letting this person go? And so when you really sit with all of the reasons why, or what feelings come up when you start even thinking about it, you know, yeah, then also the decision can be hard because we feel it in our bodies, and sometimes it's just hard to let go. And letting go doesn't mean that we're heartless. It means that we're finally being honest with ourselves. Sometimes I give myself a lot of reasons and excuses, and really letting go is just being honest. It means I'm saying to myself, I trust that what's meant for me won't require me to shrink. It won't require me to feel less than. I choose peace over pressure. I love myself enough to walk away from what harms me, you know? And anybody listening or watching, if you feel like you're in between space, still holding on, but also ready to be free, we see you. I see you. It's okay to revisit your decision daily. You know, it's okay to come back to it over time. And that doesn't mean that you failed. That just means that that's faith in progress because you're acknowledging and recognizing what the process is. And Donna, earlier, I think we mentioned something about giving ourselves grace, right? And so
Yes.
how do you practice giving yourself grace when you feel guilty for releasing people or
Mm.
expectations?
I honestly, I just sit still
Mm,
and talk to myself like I am my own best friend.
yeah, yeah. I guess for me, how do I feel about it? I just, I guess I pause as well. I pause, I connect with my breath because I notice even in thinking about like certain things, like my breath gets a little fast paced, or I can feel it really in my heart. And so just really taking a nice deep inhale through my nose, whether or not it's that hold and then release, or just letting it all out through my mouth and just maybe even making a sound with it. Like I don't care who's in the room, I just need to exhale fully and just either whisper or think to myself, I let go. I let go. I let go. I let go. I release what is not like me, of me, or for me. Um, and just let go one thing at a time and give myself grace in that. And so, even for those listening, I guess my wondering for you, or what you can try on, is noticing what's one thing on your chest today, and it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else, but this would be your thing to release. Donna, there's so many appreciations over just this whole topic, and we can go on and on because we started before we even hit record, and um, yeah, but that's why I love you. I love you for listening, friend. Thank you, and for our listeners, and for your shares because they're so heartfelt and genuine, and I appreciate that. Did you have anything else that you wanted to share as it relates to letting go or sharing some love with all of our listeners?
I love you. I am so grateful for our friendship. And for our listeners, thank you for considering today's topic.
Yeah, considering because letting go is not about loss. It's about liberation. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. And so thank you, Donna, again. Thank you all for
Yeah.
being with us today. If this conversation blessed you anyway, share it with a friend, comment, journal about it when you're ready to release something. And as always, keep loving yourself through the process. Keep letting go of what no longer serves you. And above all else, love yourself. We love you and love us anyway. Until next time, y'all, release and let go. Later.